Oh, hey, I didn't see you there. I was too busy reading my broadsheet newspaper. You know, if it had been a tabloid, probably would have been able to see you. So when talking about genre and newspaper, first we have to look at layout. Here we have an ad, and much the same, an ad over here. Now in a tabloid newspaper, it's right below the headline, and this stresses a lot of importance on it. And down here it's right in the corner and very small. Now this is very similar to the text used as well. In the tabloid newspaper, this is all the text that they have on the headline, with a picture, and the rest is headline. And on this one, maybe Daily Telegraph, The Times, you'll find text everywhere. Headlines don't take full centre stage. Text and information is king. So let's have a look at a couple examples. First of all, Daily Telegraph. Might have heard of it. A lot of text. Broadsheet. Second of all, these two are very similar. Both tabloids, The Sun and The Mirror. Can you see the red top there? Very tabloid-esque. Boom. And Now, this one's a little different. I don't know if you've heard of something called a mid-market tabloid. Right here. Mid-market tabloid. A blend of the both.
Recently, The Guardian, which is technically a broadsheet newspaper, recently changed to tabloid size. This could be to attract a younger audience. Alright, up next we have a few more factors that affect the readership of newspapers. For example, the political leanings of the papers themselves and their audience. The Daily Telegraph is a right-wing, generally, newspaper, so most of its audience is going to be supporting its right-wing views. Next up we have The Sun, which is also right-wing. Same thing applies. The Daily Mirror is slightly more left compared to the other two. And then is somewhere in the middle, so it's got a balanced readership. Mid-market tabloids generally have a more modern look and feel, which means they appeal to a younger audience. One feature of broadsheets, such as the Daily Telegraph, is they have a very old-looking font, which generally doesn't appeal to younger people. So The Sun, The Mirror, and even mid-market tabloids go for a more neutral-looking font to attract a wider audience.
Now, The Times and The Telegraph use a very formal aesthetic, which contrasts to The Sun. He uses a sans serif font, which is very eye-grabbing and entertaining. Now, this is very colloquial, which is tailored to their target audience. Now, a broadsheet is often more expensive than, say, a tabloid or a market tabloid, especially for something like The Eye, which is only 60p. Now, when compared to, £1.50 of a broadsheet newspaper, you have to expect that quality is taken into account. This means that something like the Daily Telegraph or a mid-market tabloid, is more catered to the upper class. Now, due to tabloids being on the other end of the spectrum, this must mean that they're a part of the lower class. Now, due to this, and especially due to the price of each of the newspapers, it could be argued that The Sun and the Daily Mirror are more catered to a lower class audience, maybe less educated. And when this comes into effect, we can also talk about quality. Now, the quality of something like The Sun or the Daily Mirror, it's looking for a more of a entertaining tone. Now, for something like the Daily Telegraph, it's looking to inform only. Now, this is because when buying something like the Daily Telegraph for a higher price than these three, we can only expect that there will be more informative and up-to-date, hard-hitting news stories. Of course, when looking at the Daily Mirror or the Sun, we're expecting to find out about celebrity gossip and pop culture.
Something we've seen in recent years is the blurring of lines between tabloids and broadsheet newspapers. A prime example of this is where we can see the 60p price point is quite relatable to tabloid newspapers. We can see a lot of broadsheet values, such as information about taxpayers, which you wouldn't normally see in a tabloid. If we look at the Daily Mirror, we can also see this applied, as there's tabloid stories such as Britain's top dogs, but then we also see things about UK workers losing jobs and things that you would normally see in a broadsheet newspaper. The Sun is pretty much just a tabloid. There's a large holiday advert right here, and there's not really any broadsheet values here. They do obviously outline the top stories, however there's barely any information about it. Here in the Daily Telegraph we can clearly see it's a broadsheet newspaper with very text-heavy front page. However, if we look very close, we are able to see stories such as Inside the World of the Super Divorcees. Yeah, similar stuff which you would see in a tabloid.